Welcome back to the March Home. I'm super excited today to be joined by the president of SFA, Special Forces Association, Chapter 60, Mr. Brian Wilson. He's going to tell me don't call him Mr. or Sir or anything like that because he did work for a living, fellow Green Beret, and you've kind of taken up a new mission back here in the Tampa Bay area.
Have indeed, and I'm really proud of our guys. We do some great work at Chapter 60, and hopefully we'll get to share a little bit of that with you.
Well, tell me a little bit about, now I'm a member now, I'm a lifetime member, and mainly the only reason why I did that is because of the nice metal cards that everybody gets if you become a lifetime member of SFA. But tell me a little bit about what is the mission of the Special Forces Association, and how does Chapter 60 go about reaching that mission?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad we can talk about that. We are actually a 501c19, which is a little bit different than a 501c3, which most people are.
Yep.
So we are a fraternal veterans organization, and that is our focus. It's not the charity portion, which the C3s are.
Yep.
So we take care of our guys, and that is our primary mission. But that entails several things. That takes care of our guys that are in the chapter, that takes care of our guys that are in the community, and that is outreach to guys that are transitioning.
Yep.
And that's one of the areas that I think our new team house is going to really enable us to focus on. So we can reach those guys that are getting ready to transition, whether it's retirement or it's guys that are they're getting out and they're moving into the civilian world. We want to be able to help them with a number of things and get them connected with the people who are experts in those areas: resume writing, interview rehearsals, and then ultimately interview them with Tampa companies that want a Green Beret to work for them.
Yeah.
So that's our longer term goal, and I think we'll do better when we get our team house built.
When we think about our Green Berets, and we're talking about a little bit of transition, what was it like, first of all? I just got to ask this because I love asking other guys, what was their transition like? What was it like for you when you were getting out of the military? Barrel-chested freedom fighter, and then you're hanging up the reins, kind of.
Yeah, that was a tough time of transition for me. When you finally figure out what it is that you're put here on this planet to do, and you can't do it anymore, you got to do some soul searching. You got to do a little bit of looking inside and see what it is that you can figure out to do now. So it was natural for me to want to get involved in helping our guys out. Now, me particularly, I decided I wanted to get completely away from government, so I went to work for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals for 3 years. And then
Pfizer, what do they make?
They make the best drugs on the planet.
Do they?
Cardiovascular, yes, I'm not going to go there.
Keep it to the purple pill, right? Keep it to the purple pill. Outstanding, good for you.
Yeah, so ultimately though, after about 3 years, I decided that I was a lot better at killing people and breaking things. And it was just a natural move since I was in Tampa. Started to run into a bunch of people that I knew, started getting some serious job offers, and it really did appeal to me. So I never really left it at heart, but it was good. I learned a great deal. That was a great learning segment in my life. Got into corporate America, wore a suit and tie every day, had a company car, and did it was really different, and it was good. It was a good different.
I've learned of a lot of guys who went into corporate America, and there was parts of it, there was elements of it that they could identify with from some of their unconventional warfare type training, the mentality and the thought process behind some of the things that they were doing. So I could see how there can be a crossroads there. But at the same time, when I ask all of my teammates, hey guys, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because it's almost what it is. Like, you're stuck in this world where, you have your mission, you have your focus.
Yeah.
And what do you do after that when you've been used to negotiating human life? That's a hard process.
Yeah.
So tell me, SFA, what are some of the things that you guys do here locally right now?
Well, as you know, the Special Forces Association is a global enterprise. It's a global. We are just the Tampa chapter, Chapter 60.
Yep.
The Richard J. Meadows Memorial Command Chapter. What
now,
we do,
Richard J. Meadows, for the audience, who is Richard J. Meadows?
Richard J. Meadows is as you know, a legend in our community. He did some of the first things. He's actually responsible for not only the stand-up of the SFODD and much of its training and preparation, but he brought back much of our training techniques from his exchange with the British SAS. So he did some great things. He went into Korea as a private and in 2 years came out as a master sergeant. That was in '52, and that's when he decided he wanted to be a Green Beret.
So the ODD, when we talk about Green Berets, so primary unit of a Green Beret is an ODA, Operational Detachment Alpha, and that's consistent of a 12-man team.
Right.
And then they have all the way down, the OD stands for Operational Detachment, and then they have letters afterwards for Bravo being the company level, and
Right.
then they have Charlie, and it keeps on
Battalion,
going down.
exactly.
And there's several different organizations outside of just SF that have OD affiliated to them. So he was one of the creators of one of our most elite fighters.
The National Mission Unit, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the Army version.
So that's pretty amazing that that it's named after him. So there's some tradition there. There's some history there, and we've got a pretty good group of guys now. Right now, while you don't have the team house up, where do you guys meet at? What goes on, and what do you guys kind of work through on a yearly basis?
That's a good question too. We the American Legion Post 139, which is you've been to.
Yep.
It's right there across from Britton Plaza on South Dale Mabry. Is been very gracious to us. They don't charge us anything. They let us. Now we do help them out a little bit each year because it's the right thing to do. But we meet once a month on the second Friday of every month. And we talk about, our business is we do several fundraisers during the year, but we do some things for our guys as well. We're getting more involved with connecting to the community.
Yep.
Getting some of our partners who have helped us out in the past. Some defense contractors, but more now we're transitioning to Tampa civilian companies that are interested in helping out guys who've been in this war for 15, 16 years now. And our guys are doing the rotation again and again, and I know you talk about this all the time, but I don't think we can say it too often. Those guys come home and they're broken up, they're shot up, they're busted up, and they're never going to be the way they were before. And their families have to be part of that. I wanted to make that very clear, and I should have said that earlier, but their families are an integral part of what we do and what we try to look after.
Yeah.
So, because like I do, if it weren't for our families, we couldn't do what we do.
It's a rough process. It's a really rough process, and when you combine that on top of the fact that they're in the midst of transition, so I think that's one thing that we always kind of talk about is someone getting out of the military. And you got a Green Beret who's in a 2-year period, they're gone the whole entire time except for maybe 39 days, 40 days.
Yeah.
They're home in a 2-year period sometimes. That's just crazy to think of. But when they transition, now they got a new job, new medical, new friends. They have new people that are around them, new neighborhoods. It's a hard process.
It is. It is indeed. And we want to try to make that, first of all, to provide a family. And our guys are becoming, we have guys from Vietnam era to guys that have just retired. So we really do span the spectrum, which I'm really glad of. And everybody seems to be really picking up the mantle now. We've got guys from all of that experience level that are coming to say, hey, I want to give back. I want to do something. So people are stepping up, and I'm really happy about that.
I can tell you this for all of our Green Beret brothers out there. They have a yearly conference that goes on. SFA has a yearly national meeting. This year was at Fort Bragg.
Right.
Where's that next year? Do you know?
They have decided, but I'm not sure.
I don't know about next year. I know in 2 years that they're thinking about bringing it back home to, and I say back home because I happen to love 7th Group, but bringing it over to Eglin Air Force Base in 2 years. That's what I heard. It's a rumor. If it's not true, well, now it's on the World Wide Web, so hopefully it becomes true. But you have that every 2 years, and you have a magazine. That's just incredible.
We do. The Drop. It's a quarterly publication, and it addresses all the activities that are going in each of the regions, and more specifically in each of the chapters that are active.
And so I'm just saying for all of our brothers, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, they want to sign up with Chapter 60, right? They want to be a part of it, and you guys want them a part of it.
Absolutely. And
how do they get in touch with you for that?
Well, we've got a couple of ways that you can get a hold of us. We have a Facebook page, which seems to be hugely popular. And the guy that runs our Facebook page is really, really talented. He does a lot of history, this day in SF history, airborne history, and a lot of things like that. Special Forces Association Chapter LX on Facebook. Our website, which we've just gotten new developed, we've really moved into the modern era now because we have
you got a new website up.
We have a website,
You know what-
specialforces.org. specialforces.org.
Yep.
That's our webpage.
Okay, okay. And I've been that to a couple of times, I think. What's funny is when you go to like an American Legion's webpage, and not national, but like a Post, it's so hard to look at their web pages sometimes. And they all have their own that aren't the best. So you guys are right here local, and you work with other nonprofits as well. You guys support a lot of different groups, and you also have a scholarship program that you do.
We do, and I'm really proud of that. We are supportive of the Special Operations Warrior Foundation,
Okay.
the Green Beret Foundation, the local Fisher houses, and there are 2 now,
Yep.
which is excellent. And of course, we do a ROTC and a junior ROTC outreach in the entire region. We go all the way from Gainesville east to Lakeland,
Oh, wow.
south to Sarasota. I mean, it's a big area, and our guys volunteer. They go out. They present certificates. The cadre at the ROTC and the JRTC pick their leaders, and we've got some fine young people that are coming up through the ranks, and I'm proud to be a part of that. But one of the
That's
big
an
things that
awesome
we
program.
do, it is, and it's little known about
And
what
there's
we
like,
do.
and there's like some mysticism behind Green Beret. So when you have a Green Beret go to bring a high school kid or a college kid a certificate, that's a big deal.
It is, and our guys are great. We wear a blazer and our beret, and the kids are like, they're wowed.
Yeah.
But that's part of our mission. Part of our recruiting mission is to make sure that Special Forces is manned through the future, not just taking care of our guys now. So it's a big part of outreach, and it's an educational piece, because we're able to not only train and inform and teach the students, but we get to teach the cadre as well, and they learn, because there is, even in the military, even in the Army, there's a lot of mysticism, like you said, about being in Special Forces. And when they find out we're just ordinary guys doing extraordinary things, it makes it seem a little more real to them and attainable. And,
That's the wool over their eyes. What we say is these drones do not belong to you. The power of a Green Beret. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate you coming on to the show. And once again, how do they get in touch with Chapter 60? And how do they get in touch? How we can get in touch with you in general to find out about what SFA is doing inside the area?
Absolutely. So SFA LX is our chapter, but the best way to go is to our webpage, and there are links there to all of our activities. You can find out everything you need to know about our chapter, about Richard Meadows, about our scholarship program, and how you can apply for that, and what you have to do to qualify for that. And then some of the other activities that we have going on during the year. We have a sporting clays shoot that we do in November.
Nice.
We do several fundraisers that are really cool during the year. We have a great Christmas party that's just for our guys, where they volunteer and work so hard all year, and we do one of those. We have a Spring Fest that we do in the spring.
I just had an image of you wearing a Santa hat, and I'm not into it. So I will be at that party though. I have to see it. I'll make sure the pictures are on for that.
First week of December. Yeah,
that'll be a good time.
It's a good event.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much. Stay tuned. We've got James, a videographer and great camera guy, coming on next. He's a Marine, and I think you guys will love to hear his story. Thank you guys for watching in the March Home. Stay tuned after these commercials.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus Card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Welcome to Raceface Brand Development. You might be asking, what is Raceface Brand Development? We are all about helping young drivers get noticed while creating a brand. If your branding isn't part of your strategy and you're looking for a competitive advantage in the marketplace, I encourage you to reach out to us at Raceface Brand Development and let us provide you a free consultation on how we can help further your driver's career.
81% of consumers search online before even setting foot in a store. We help you create a strong foundation for your digital reputation. We help build your online presence to improve search engine rank and make sure your business information is correct across the web. You could do all of this on your own, but why would you spend more than 300 hours a year working on this? You have a business to run. Save time and put our software to work for you.
Did you watch any baseball games or football? Oh, excuse me. We're live back on the march home. I completely forgot because my technical guy here,
Yeah.
James, is on the set. He can't tell me it's time for us to go live.
Nope, I'm not behind the camera this time. I'm actually in front of it.
So, Brian Anderson back with the march home. I've got James,
Hansberger.
and I was gonna totally murder that name. So James has been, just a quick idea of it. James, you're a Marine.
Yes, I did 4 years in the Marines from 2006 to 2010. Got out because they closed out my MOS.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was actually, like you say, the transition. Transition was very difficult because
They
actually-
closed out your MOS. What was your
I was
MOS?
heavy equipment. I was a heavy equipment operator. I did roads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they actually started giving it to civilian contractors.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So who were you with when you were in the Marine Corps?
I was with MWSS 274 out of Cherry Point,
Okay.
North Carolina.
That's where I was born at.
Nice.
Cherry
nice.
Point, North Carolina. I was asking because my dad was a heavy maintenance mechanic,
Oh, nice.
but he was at Camp Lejeune.
I've been to Camp Lejeune many a times.
Beautiful
beautiful,
place.
beautiful base. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff over there.
For all the Marines who complain about Camp Lejeune, I love it.
It's when you're not stationed there, it's not bad. When you're stationed there, I could understand it being bad because it's not doesn't have that much to do. But when you go there from Cherry Point, it's a beautiful base. Trust me.
And we're talking about post-water problems at Camp Lejeune is
Well-
really what we're talking about. Because the 80s...
During
During?
there was actually a big outbreak that they found out during 2006-ish also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a very recent, like recently, yeah.
No kidding. And what we're talking about, for folks who don't know about the water at Camp Lejeune, I had a buddy growing up in high school, and he had a lot of issues, ended up passing away when he was 21 from things related to, I think it's iron in the water.
Yeah, iron and lead.
Iron,
'Cause they
lead,
used
lead in the water. That's what
They
it
used
is.
a lot of lead pipes.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. Actually, speaking of water, that was actually what I did when I got out.
What's
Because
that?
I did plumbing and water softeners and stuff like that. Because
So how did you-
they closed out my MOS, that I had no idea what else to do.
Where did you move to when you got out of the military?
I actually stayed in Havelock, North Carolina, for about 4 years.
You know the Craven County Bears? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I used to play for the Craven County Bears.
Nice. That's
Pop
actually
Warner football.
Yep. There's a Pop Warner football is actually very popular in that area.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
It's crazy. My wife is actually from Havelock.
So you got out of the military and you became a plumber. You did that for how long?
Since 2010 to about 2015.
What was this? Is this like a hobby? You started videotape? You
Actually,
started running studios?
no.
And
Well, the studio actually became. I've always wanted to do something in media. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I'm out doing water softeners, and I'm digging this water softener that's probably this big and like 6 feet tall out of the ground. And I'm just like, I'm done with this. I'm doing it by myself. It's mid-July.
in North Carolina?
No, actually, I moved back down to Tampa,
Okay.
and I was doing it in Tampa, and I was just like, I'm through with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I've got to figure out something else to do. I then got back in my truck after I was done, and I heard something for the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and it was right in Tampa. I used my GI Bill. They actually paid for the whole thing, and I went and got a certificate from the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and I started doing video production.
Oh, wow. So what did that, okay, you got a certificate. What is the class? I've never heard of the Connecticut School of Broadcast. Is it a good?
They teach you everything that has to do with broadcasting, such as video editing,
Yep.
how to speak on the radio, how to speak on a video, what cameras to look at, anything that you could think of broadcasting-wise. They'll teach you how to edit video, audio, whatever you need.
No
How to
kidding.
use a camera,
How to manage a green
how
screen.
to manage the beautiful green screen, put SimSpark behind you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No kidding.
And like I said, the GI Bill paid for it all. That was honestly, I mentioned the transition that I had a difficult time transitioning because I went in as heavy equipment, got out, didn't have any experience also because I went to Iraq as a machine gunner.
Yeah.
That was the other part of the.
That's considered heavy equipment.
Technically,
I mean,
it was
heavy equipment.
quite heavy. It was 27 pounds of rifle that I had to carry, but that's technicalities. But I had a difficult time, but the GI Bill really made it
So
a little
when
bit easier.
So when did you go to school? Was it 2015?
2015, November 2015, I went to school. Or no, sorry, 2014, I started school.
Yep.
And then 2015, I got my first job in video production.
How long was the program that you went through?
About 7 weeks, or 7 months,
7 months?
something like that. Or I don't remember exactly.
Was it all on campus?
It was all
or-
on campus. There was nothing online. It was all on hands-on learning from professionals in the field. If they were teaching you radio, they were on the radio currently.
Yep.
If they were teaching you video production, they did something in video production. That's why, honestly, it's a great school to go to.
It's important because, like, I know when I was in the military, I went to DINFOS, the Defense Information, I forget the rest of the acronym, but it's for folks in broadcast and journalism, public affairs, all those kind of things. And
Right.
all branches of the service go there. And you learn a lot of the basics, right? But those basics only get you to a certain place.
Yeah.
Then you start learning all the actualities of what it's like to do it in the field. And that's a whole different ball game
It is
altogether.
a whole different ball game. Like I will say that's one thing. The Connecticut School of Broadcasting did teach me this. My knowledge now is up here. Nothing against them, but it's just they do teach only the basics.
So here at My Network One, you manage the studio, which in
Yes.
here I see 1, 2, 3, and this is four sets.
Four sets, and we have a podcast room in the back that we can do podcasts in at the same time we're doing other shows because it is completely isolated.
And that's a soundproof room. Is that
It's
soundproof?
not soundproof, but it is very, very sound deadening.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still hear a little bit in there.
Especially if I was in there, you would hear that.
It depends on who's in there. Like if someone that's softly spoken, they may be soundproof, but
But not Brian.
not Brian.
Not Brian. Hero would probably do well with being in there.
Hero.
Have you ever heard of Bart?
I have not.
Yeah.
I've known you for almost a year and a half,
Yeah, it's
and
been
I've
a little
never heard Hero bark.
bit. Yeah, he's a quiet guy.
He is.
He's a quiet guy. So you guys have the 4 studios. You have the podcast room, but then you're also doing things outside of just
Yes,
the studio.
we do events. We will live stream if you have any kind of concert. If you want to do any kind of event, we can live stream it for you.
So what's your main role outside of, I know what your main role here is. You always try and manage me and say, Brian, this is what you got to do. But what else do you do outside of the times that I see here? Because when I'm here, honestly, I can tell you this. When I come here, I feel like I'm getting just red carpet treatment.
Well, outside of My Network One and outside of the studio, I actually have some of my own freelance stuff that I do called Chaos Radio.
Okay.
I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and I actually went to there because I wanted to do radio. And I'm trying to start a live online radio station.
Okay.
If the editor that's editing this puts the link down below, you can actually see chaosradio.com. I'm the one that's going to be editing it, so.
So he just put that down there.
Hopefully, I did my job, and you saw the link. And but yeah, you can actually go to chaosradio.com, support me and all my stuff. But more importantly, go to My Network One and support My Network One, because ultimately that will also support me as well.
Yeah, so you guys, do you have drones as well? Didn't I see you operating?
Oh, yes. Our
Yeah.
drone. That's actually, as one of my hobbies, I flew miniature helicopters. And I accidentally mentioned that here. Now I'm the exclusive drone operator.
So I remember at the Hunger Walk, which the Hunger Walk's an awesome
It was
event.
awesome. It was
And it's gotten
fantastic.
better every single year.
Yeah, they're up to like 800 people just walking.
Unbelievable.
Not even the vendors.
You guys got to tag.
Yeah, I gotta
Patty
do it.
Patty Templeton and My
Templeton.
Network or One Community Now.
One Community Now, yep.
The Hunger Walk is unbelievable. It's phenomenal, and you had the drone work out there. And I remember seeing the commercial that you guys put together, the after product of the actual
Right.
event.
It was
And
fantastic.
the drone footage was exceptional.
That's not just me. That's the fact that we have a fantastic drone that's 4K. I can
Is
only
4K staying in existence?
4K is, yes, it's becoming more standard. It's more the fact that you can use more of the footage because it's 4 times the size of 1080.
Okay.
So now I have essentially 4 different 1080s that I can pull out of this 4K.
I have no clue
video.
what you just said, so I'm just going to keep on moving on with the interview because that was just completely foreign. He is a Marine. It's surprising that he can speak at those levels.
That's, well,
I'm just
math-
kidding. I've met
math
a
and
lot
reading's not essential. That's what they say.
I'm just kidding,
That's
Dad.
what they say.
I didn't mean to say that about Marines.
That's what they say. Math and reading's not essential, But no, it's honestly, I do take a lot of stuff like that. I'm actually a Toastmaster.
Are you really?
I do. Yes, I did that because being in video, I have to help people speak.
Yep.
And I have to help them speak well. So being able to speak well, I assumed would be a good idea for myself as well.
Yeah.
It helps me help people.
And honestly, when you're on a radio, if you're on a radio, you can't see anything. So the only thing that you have
Is your voice.
is the voice to actually communicate a message.
Radio broadcasters are actually filthy. Like they're out of the radio, they're filthy. They talk terribly. Every other word is a curse word.
But once they get on the
Once
show,
they get on the show, it's PG.
yeah,
It's so strange. So strange.
it's almost it's you go into a role.
Yep.
You go into a role and you have
play
to
a character.
and you have points that you have to put out there too as you go through it. So it's an interesting process. So you got out of the military. You had no clue of what you were going to do.
Nope. No, I was actually unemployed for 2.5 months.
Oh wow. Did you have terminal leave?
I did, and thank God. I had about a month of terminal leave.
And so you got into plumbing. After you got done with plumbing, you started getting into this video process. You've been working here. How long have you been with My Network One?
I've been with My Network One for about a year.
For about a year?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you what, it's awesome to have you here as part of the process.
I'm happy to be here. This place is fantastic. If you haven't been in, we offer tours. Just come in. You can actually watch us do a show just like we're doing now. You can actually be part of our live studio audience if we ever have one.
We've had a few
Absolutely.
live studio
We've had a
audiences here
few.
too.
We've
yeah.
had a few.
So the great thing about that I've always really enjoyed is when I come up here and I start having a conversation with you and I tell you, hey, this is what I need to get done. For me as a veteran and working on a show that's about veterans, you understand it, you get it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's been extremely helpful.
That's just, it's a happenstance that I happen to be a veteran.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't be here because if it wasn't for the GI Bill.
yeah.
So
GI Bill is an amazing process. They're doing new things with it.
they are.
I got to say thank you guys so much. Thank you, James, for being on the
Absolutely.
radio with us. It's
Absolutely.
My Network One, and also I don't know the name. What's the name of the website for you?
MyNetwork1.com.
And then what's the other one?
ChaosRadio.com.
Chaos Radio.
Chaos Radio with a K.
With a K. But you can see that right here.
Yeah, you can
and
see it right
My
here.
Network One, or maybe it's up here. I don't know. It's
knows?
wherever the editor decides to put it.
Wherever I decide to put it.
Thank you guys for joining for this week of the March Home. We'll see you next week on the March Home. Have a great week.